Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon. I'm back. Today I want to talk to you guys about Marvel Strike Force and the Blitz teams I use. So Blitz is a mode a lot of us play, and I'm sure most of our save team slots probably go towards Blitz and sort of setting up our teams for that, and that's where all my save slots are. It's for my Blitz teams. I do that because Blitz teams are generally somewhat functional in other modes. At least for Ultimate 6, I can still use my Blitz teams in Ultimate 6. Alliance Wars, for my kind of level of gameplay, my Blitz teams are functional in those modes, so I do keep using them. Also on the side, you can note more orbs I've saved up in preparation for this event, so I'm stocking up right here on orbs. But anyways, so I want to show you guys my roster first, then I'll show you all the saved Blitz teams I use. Now, looking at my roster, there's probably more Blitz teams I could build out of my roster. I don't necessarily use every character, but the reason why I don't have more teams built than I currently do is I like to make sure my Blitz teams are pretty much guaranteed to win if it's tier 7. Once you get to tier 8 and stuff, it does get a little iffy. But for me, I want my teams to be able to win tier 7 no matter what. I really don't like to look at Blitz too much once I start playing. I want that to pretty much run autonomously. I just want to hit play. So I do technically have more characters I could build into teams, but I don't do that because I want to make sure all my teams are functional and can perform well on their own. So let me show you the 18 teams I have saved. We'll start out with number 1. I'm not going to talk about all of them because most of them are pretty cookie cutter. So Guardians, I use Gamora. I know. A lot of people are like, you should use Mantis. Partially it's because I have so much invested in Gamora. I don't want to invest a bunch in Mantis to get her up. If you're looking to maximize your roster, you could put Mantis on this team and put Gamora on a Brawler team. But from my perspective, I could just not max up Mantis and I can keep my Guardians Galaxy team as is. This team's kind of interesting. I only have this team because otherwise these are a bunch of misfit characters, and I have them really highly built up because back when the game first came out, this was the meta team. Like, this was a top tier team right here in Arena. The good old days right there. Not to say I think the game's in a pretty good state right now, but I'm just a little nostalgic for those days. But anyways, they're all misfits. I wouldn't have any other team to put them on. So like Quake could maybe go with an Inhumans team, but I don't have Black Bolt, so I don't really have an Inhumans team ready to go right now. So if I did get Black Bolt, I would take Quake off of here and sort of break this team down. Maybe I'd throw Crossbones on a tech team with like Wasp, Ant-Man, and Vision or something like that. Captain America and Black Widow I could maybe someday put with Hulk or something like that. I don't know, maybe with Hawkeye too, and like Shield Trooper or something like that. I don't know. But for now, this is where I have them because I know this team's competent because I used to use them back in the day, and I have them very highly built up. Defenders, symbiotes, blah blah blah, boring. This is how it is. Brotherhood, this is slightly different for me. I'm still using the old-fashioned Brotherhood. Sabretooth and Mystique will soon be moving over to our Marauders team with Sabretooth, or with Mr. Sinister and Strife. All I need to do is unlock Mr. Sinister, Toad, and Blob. Then I'll move Toad and Blob into my Brotherhood team and move Sabretooth and Mystique over to our Marauders team. I plan to throw either Hand Sentry or Kingpin as the 5th member on that team. We'll figure that out. I'm not too worried about who we throw on the 5th member of the team. There's a lot of people I could throw there. As Guardians, pretty straightforward. Kree, pretty straightforward. Most people don't use the Cyborg on the Kree team. I don't either because Cyborg can go well with Ultimus. Eventually I will build off that second team with Minerva, Captain Marvel, Ultimus, Kree, Cyborg, Karath, but I don't have Ultimus right now, so I can't build that team. So I have the rest of that team split off into other groups. Like Captain Marvel's on a Brawlers team right now for me. Power Armor, generic. Supernatural, generic. Wakandans, generic. Shield, I do not use Shield Trooper on the team. Some people use Shield Trooper on this team and then allow Shield Medic to go with that Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye sort of things, because since Shield Medic's like a better character and Nick Fury is already providing a bit of healing for the team. Again, since I'm not running that team and I don't have Shield Trooper built up, I use Shield Medic on this team. My Brawlers team's kind of interesting. Really, the only characters you have to use on here is American Chavez and Miss Marvel, and then you can throw whoever you want on there. Outside of that, I happen to throw Wolverine on there because I don't have an X-Men team built because I don't have Cyclops or Phoenix unlocked, so I don't have the heavy hitters of X-Men, so I don't bother building an X-Men team right now. And I don't have the Kree team, so I put Captain Marvel on here. So this is a pretty good team, mostly because Captain Marvel is on it. Aim, pretty generic. Again, I use Researcher and Monstrosity. Some people like Assaulter. I like Researcher, so you know, just a difference of opinion. Sinister Six, generic. Mercenaries, this is pretty generic. Some people use Killmonger on this team, or Karath. Again, I like to keep Karath and Killmonger. I like to, you know, maximize my roster, minus that whole Mantis Gamora thing. So I'd rather use a character like Sniper here, who's useless on any other team, but at least he can sort of work with this team. And then I like to keep the Wakandan team together. You know, even though M'Baku and Okoye are not that good, I still think it's more valuable to have another team of Wakandan than you know, to sort of break it up, so that way I can just make my mercenary team a little better. Red Skull, the Hydra team, this is pretty generic. This is actually, these last two teams I think are actually pretty cool right here. So this is sort of, I think, what a lot of people are doing with the X-Force right now. They're throwing Hulk in as the 5th member. I thought of this on my own to throw Hulk in. I was reading on Reddit that other people are throwing Hulk on as the 5th member, so I think this must just be sort of the mentality for it. You know, building this team up, it's going to be X-23 in that 5th slot, nothing too crazy here. And this team's kind of interesting because I don't have Call or Ebony, so I hope to unlock Call somewhat soon, and then I'll take out one of these big villain guys and put them with the Marauders team. So yeah, this is just sort of, it's a pretty good team because Hand Sentry and Kingpin are very competent. You know, just kind of a fun villain team right there. I'm a big fan of this team comp right here, just because it's cool to get to use Hand Sentry and Kingpin. If we look back at my roster teams, I am sort of eyeing up building eventually. Again, looking for a tech team eventually. You know, once I break up that team with Crossbones, then maybe Crossbones, Ant-Man, Wasp, Vision, and then you know, who knows who else I'll throw on that team. I'm looking to build that second Kree team right here with Karath, Captain Marvel, Minerva, Kree Cyborg, but I need Ultimus to do that. And as you guys can see, I do not have Ultimus unlocked. There's Ultimus right there. And then Phoenix, Cyclops, they're locked off, so I can't do an X-Men team. Blob, Toad, locked off, so I can't do version 2 of Brotherhood. I do have all the Fantastic Four members built up, and I will be unlocking Invisible Woman with the next event. So once I do that, I will then put Invisible Woman on a Fantastic Four team and run that. Without Invisible Woman, I don't think the Fantastic Four team performs that well, so I don't have that team saved right now. Coulson, I'll probably put him onto a team with like Captain America and them, so I'll probably look to move that around, but Coulson's literally so slow to unlock. So by the day I actually do have Coulson unlocked, Black Widow will probably been reworked by then or something like that. It's literally so slow. And then pretty much anyone I don't have gear tier 9 down here, I just don't use at all on anything. You know, like I could technically run a hand team. I do have all the hand characters, but I can't trust that they'll actually be able to clear content. And then mostly what else is left down here aside from Mantis and Nebula. Nebula is just a bad character. Leftover minions. So Aim Infector, Hydra Grenadier, Mercenary Soldier, Shield Trooper, just sort of these leftover minions that aren't picked for their teams. And then I have the whole Ravagers. They're all bad. So, you know, they all just hang out down here with each other and they keep each other company at the bottom of the roster. But I hope going through my teams today could give you guys a bit of insight into how I build teams. You know, there's a lot of generic teams we follow in this game, but don't be afraid to sort of stretch outside of what's normal in this game. You know, for example, that Black Order team, you know, you can build a team that is competent without having to follow the 1-for-1 of what a normal Blitz team is. You know, it's sometimes good if you have 3 or 4 members of a team like I do with Black Order, to sort of to get that team running and to throw in 2 random guys to sort of fill in the slots. You know, just some interesting stuff to maybe think about, and maybe by looking at some of my teams it maybe inspired you. You know, you might be in a similar situation where you don't have Cull or Ebony, or you know, right now you only have 4 of the 5 X-Force, all kinds of unique situations you could be in. And I hope that maybe me going through my Blitz teams is maybe giving you some ideas about some teams you could build, or maybe sort of give you some insight to my thought process when building a Blitz team. With that being said, what do I really know? I am only an 18-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Signing off, everyone.